any sort of work experience, including internships and extracurricular activities, translate much better to on-the-job performance. And this is because when written correctly, the bullet points on your resume help them visualize your ability to do the job they're hiring for.
Hey guys, when you create your CV, you can make a lot of mistakes. In this video, we're going to look at 5 you have to avoid. The link to the original video is in the description below. And now let's get into it. Okay, so let's look at this.
All right, so when I was applying to my first full-time job, I sent out a total of 367 cold emails, received 21 first-round interviews, and ended up with 5 full-time job offers.
Okay, that seems fine. Really good ratio, right? The thing is, 367 cold emails. So who did you email? Like, how did you get the emails for these people? Because usually you don't have emails from these. I don't know when he applied to these jobs. Like right now, I have people who apply to hundreds of jobs and they don't get invited to a single interview. They get single offers because there are so many applicants. So like, I don't know if this is the case right now. Nevertheless, there might be things, or let's look at the 5 things that are important.
But what those numbers do not show is that most of those interviews only came after I started doing 2 things.
Okay.
First, networking my butt off with alumni, recruiters, and hiring managers. And second, editing my resume based
on their feedback resume. So how, okay, with alumni, you can get in touch. Recruiters is always a bit difficult, like maybe over LinkedIn. I sent stuff to a lot of recruiters lately and nobody replied, or my students. So that's difficult. Edit resume based on their feedback or based on ChatGPT feedback. You could also use ChatGPT, right?
On their feedback. So in this video, I'll first share the 5 biggest resume mistakes I made back in the day.
By the way, this is a good resume format. Really nice. They really like that. This is straight to the point. Yeah, he already has a few things here that are not that good, so let's look at it.
Then go through the changes that landed me all those first round interviews. Let's get started. Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jeff. Come for the career tips and stay for the painfully accurate job search memes. Mistake number 1, putting the education section above the work experience section.
Yeah.
While I am
okay, that makes sense, right? If you have experience, you need to lead with that because people need to understand what is this person capable of. The education, not that super important.
I'm still extremely proud of my GPA and SAT score. Recruiter
I have no idea what these GPA or SAT scores are. I'm from Germany, so we don't have that here.
Hey guys, before we continue with the video, a quick info. Our Black Friday deal for my Data Engineering Academy is here. That means you can now save 30% on the 12 months access or unlimited access to my Engineering Academy. You will get everything you need to learn data engineering for only a fraction of the price. So head over there, learndataengineering.com, and use the code BlackFriday24 to get the 30%. This is only valid until the 30th of November. So again, head over there and let's make the end of 2024 and especially 2025 your year. And let's continue with the video.
Hiring managers know that any sort of work experience, including internships and extracurricular activities, translate much better to on-the-job performance. And this is because when written correctly, the bullet points on your resume help them visualize your ability to do the job they're hiring for. Let's imagine a hiring manager starts.
Exactly, that's a big thing, and I tell this to my students as well all the time. Write it so that people understand, okay, what was the environment that you worked in, and what were your tasks, what stuff were you achieving? Because then they can see how you are going to react or how you're going to be used in their environment.
To scan down my bad resume. She sees my GPA, the classes that I took, my high school honor roll, realizes none of that is relevant, just wasted 30 seconds of her life, and she moves on to the next applicant. Now,
maybe. I mean, a good recruiter should also scroll through, but it's a bad start, right? It's a bad start. You want to lead with the valuable things first. And like you can have so good scores, but you're terrible at work, right? Because scores in education are usually about learning, about remembering, like looking at stuff, trying to remember it, and then give it out at the certain time of the test. But it's not like hands-on experience and so on.
Imagine she opens up a resume and sees immediately I've worked on finance transformation and supply chain projects. She thinks, okay, this candidate has some industry knowledge.
Also, the company is here, right? See Ernst & Young, senior consultant. You see the company, the role, and you see bullets here of what this person was doing.
And can probably present to clients. He actually might be a good fit for this project we're currently short-staffed on. And she reads on. Even if I only had my first summer internship available, she would know at least I have worked in a finance department before and I have basic Excel skills. Oh, and I
also on the right here, you can see here there are going to be the dates, right?
probably should have mentioned this sooner, but I've linked the PDF versions of the two resumes for free down below, so feel free to reference them when updating your own resume. Mistake number 2, not showing impact. If you take a quick look at my original KPMG example, assisted with project governance, presented to a banking client, help with the project research, you'll notice something awkward. I use all these fancy, overcomplicated words, but you still don't know the implication of those actions. Compare
you don't know exactly what has this person done. But let's quickly.
this with the updated version.
Assisted with project governance, like how coordination of resources presented to a Russian bank client.
You still don't know the implication of those actions. Compare this with the updated version of the same bullet point. Even though I start off basically the same way, you can clearly see the result of my contributions. The banking client successfully opened a branch in the local market.
Well, of course, might be a bit theoretical, but we were talking about this before in another video. The outcome is important, showing the impact of your work. And that is one of the big things that people miss out on. And so focus on that.
This is the difference between just saying fluffy buzzwords and actually showing impact. I can't stress this enough. And
buzzwords, generally, terrible. Terrible, don't do that.
hey, don't just take my word for it. Big name career coaches like Austin Belsack and Adam Broda reiterate this all the time. You need to communicate what you accomplished. And even Ali Abdaal, someone we don't normally associate with being professional or businessy, right? He says,
so this is a bunch of buzzwords and that is not substantiated by anything at all.
And at this point,
difficult, right? If you read this, you're out. If a recruiter or an HR person reads this, you're out already. Terrible.
Many of you might fall into the trap of mistake number 3, failing to include meaningful metrics. And the reason I know is from all the comments in my original resume video. This one sums up what many of you might be thinking. How do you show metrics when you're new or you don't have impressive metrics from your internship? Or this one, how do I quantify work achievements? I'm at a startup where data points are not established yet, not sure how to state metrics while staying authentic. And the short answer is that recruiters and hiring managers care much more about the effort you put into quantifying your impact rather than the actual numbers themselves.
Exactly. That's why just putting in a few numbers here and there makes no sense. Putting in something like improving this by 58%. Nobody cares about that. What was the outcome of it? Why was this meaningful? Right? That is the important part. And look on my channel, there is another video that I reacted from him, and we were actually going through how to create good metrics. It's super interesting.
For example, when I applied to my first ever internship, I literally wrote, my presentation scored 23% higher than the class average. That seems insignificant, right?
Yeah.
Yes, but it also shows I knew the success metric of the presentation, the score, and I took the extra step to benchmark my performance to that of my peers. Pro tip.
Yes, but like, is that 23%? I think it's a bad example.
A foolproof way to quantify your impact is to keep asking yourself, so what? Taking my SAT tutoring experience as an example, I might have started off with, taught SAT during my summer break in college. Okay, So what? The average increase in my students' SAT scores was 280 points. So what? 7 out of the 8 seniors got accepted into their first choice colleges.
That's impact, exactly. That is important. Look at these topics. You need to make an impact. Very important.
To really drive this point home, because it's so important, here's an extreme example. It's much better to write, delivered on average 9 coffees a day with 100% accuracy on all orders for 3 months. Then I fetch coffee for senior associates doing my summer internship.
Yeah, of course. But you can see the difference, right? It's not a really glorious task, but it's the difference here is actually it's very visible.
Mistake number 4 is a tough one for me to admit because I remember being very defensive when I got this feedback, and that is not tailoring my resume for each job application.
On the other side, like he said in the beginning, 360 something applications. Did he really tailor the CV for every job? I doubt that. But making changes here and there, especially if you have jobs where you think you have a really good chance, or with bigger companies where you really want to get in, it makes sense to take some time actually to look at what's the job description, how can I bring this more towards the job. And you don't need to change everything at once. Here and there, a few minor details might be the thing to do.
I mean, back then I applied to over 50 jobs and I was lazy. I wasn't going to create 50 versions of the same resume. But the present, more mature me would tell you 2 things. First, the workload isn't that bad if you focus your attention on 3 to 5 roles, which you should be doing anyways because the apply to everything approach doesn't work well in today's job market.
Yeah. Okay, that's the thing. Like if you're a data engineer, you don't want to apply to like data scientist, data analyst, database developer. You know what I mean? You would apply to some kind of a data engineer role, cloud engineering roles. And if only take a few, and then it's easy to actually tailor it. So it's not tailored to each individual job, but it's more tailored into the role, what he does here or what he has done. That's actually a good tip.
So why not invest more time in the quality of your application rather than the quantity? Second, for a similar set of roles, you can copy and paste those job descriptions into a word cloud generator to easily identify relevant skills the recruiter might be looking for and add those keywords into your resume.
I like this idea. I like this before with the word cloud generator. I think it's a good idea to put this in or to use something like that. Of course, you can also do this with ChatGPT and maybe have ChatGPT help a bit here, but it's a clever way of doing it.
This is a very easy way to tailor your resume for different roles, and I go through step-by-step instructions in my original resume video, so I'll link that down below. Pro tip, this is the biggest difference between your LinkedIn profile and your resume. Your LinkedIn should give a more general overview of who you are professionally and shouldn't change all that much, whereas your resume should be more hyper-targeted for each application. Mistake number 5 is overlooking the small things, and to show you what I mean, take a look at this part of my original resume. Pause the video and see if you can spot the mistake. These 2 hyphens are formatted differently.
That's true. That looks strange, but I wouldn't actually have them figured it out. Might be for a system that actually analyzed the data, but interesting.
Did you notice? Some of you might already be rolling your eyes right now, but believe me when I tell you, first impressions matter. And while perfect formatting won't guarantee you the interview, easily avoidable errors like this can be a red flag. Again, don't just take my word for it or the word of those corporate LinkedIn career gurus. Here's Ali Abdaal again.
Bunch of spelling and grammar issues there. Like, this is really obvious stuff.
So whether you're...
That's it, right? More than just the different types of hyphens or something, the important part is not have spelling errors in there, not have like make mistakes with the whole sentences that because you edited them that they sound weird. Like these minor things that are easy to spot that you can easily put into ChatGPT and say point out things that are not fitting here, right? That's important. And of course the formatting, that's the important thing. Yeah.
you're applying for a role in a traditional corporation or a fun and chill startup, small things matter. That's what he said. Nope, that was inappropriate. Sorry about that. A simple way to catch these mistakes is to send your resume to 10 people you know and get their feedback. Or at the very least, use a tool like Grammarly or even autocorrect in Google Docs.
Or ChatGPT.
All right, once you've updated that resume, make sure to check out this video on how to write an effective cover letter to maximize your chances for a first round interview.
By the way, when you use ChatGPT, make sure that you tell it that it should not rephrase anything, right? Because sometimes it likes to rephrase stuff that you don't want to have rephrased. So be aware of this.
See you in the next video. In the meantime, have a great one.
All right, cool video. Let's hit subscribe here and like. Also go there as well. Be honest, have you made one of these mistakes yourself? Put it in the comments. And also if something else is interesting, put it in there as well. See you next time.